when I went to my first job away from the East Coast, it was in Portland, Oregon, and the textbook that was available for history at the high schools of Portland, Oregon, was the same one available in California. It was by Scott Forsman, and among the 258 major errors in the book was that the United States had dropped the atomic bomb on Korea. Now, we're probably likely to do that in the upcoming days, but certainly I guess they felt that all those people from that part of the world look alike. What's the difference? Japan, Korea. There were hundreds of errors of that magnitude in the book, nor was there any particular consternation when this was exposed. I guess there were some screams on the part of parents. But what does it matter? You got to get the kids to sit, be quiet, copy notes off the board, and pass tests. What does it matter whether the information is accurate or not? How old-fashioned do you want to be? Breaking out of the track, you have to repudiate centralization. Schooling must be desystematized. The system must be put to death. Rather than dismissing that as rhetoric, each one of us, if you value individuality, has a system of our own, just as we have a fingerprint of our own there. It's not totally alien to everyone else's system, but the part of our lives we value is in fact the part that stands apart from the other people we know, or at least that's the part we should value as Americans. When you force everyone's system into one large system that presumes to distribute rewards later on based on how well you conform, we're talking about a nightmare. That we are the chief distributor of this nightmare to the rest of the world, not communist China, not ex-communist Russia, but us, should make you sit up and steam and vow to sabotage this system any way you can. Any way you can. So that's the last chapter in the book. It says Adam Smith correctly instructed us, the high priest of the libertarians and the conservatives, he correctly instructed us for more than 2 centuries that the wealth of nations is the product of freedom, not of tutelage, not of someone telling you this is the right way to do something. Smith said that the more people you bring to the bargaining table, the more likely it is that in that steamy exchange of points of view, that an entirely different idea that no one had thought of before springs free as the resultant of this dialectical process. I've never met somebody who cites Adam Smith, and they're all over California, who actually read his books. And while you're reading Wealth of Nations, which says bring everybody on board in a policy sense, read his Theory of Moral Sentiments, in which he says that the people who devote their lives to making money are insane. They have wretched lives as a result of that, but we should all thank them for having devoted the substance of their lives to constructing these structures that produce rivers of wealth. As I said, I've never met anybody, but I'm only 70, who's actually read Adam Smith. He's well worth reading. So the connection between the corporate economy, national politics, and schooling isn't a disease of free enterprise. It's a disease of collectivism, which must be broken if children are to become sovereign, creative adults capable of lifting a free society to unimaginable heights. The rational management model has damaged the roots of our free society and the free market that it claims to defend. And then I have an epilogue. It's only 2 pages, but you only get a little bit of it. What happened in our schools was foreseen way before we had them by Thomas Jefferson. We have been recolonized through the 20th century in a second American Revolution. We have been reabsorbed into the ruling imagination of Tudor England. It's time to take our script from this country's revolutionary start. It's time to renew our traditional hostility toward hierarchy and tutelage. We became a unique nation from the bottom up, not from the top down. That's the only way to rebuild a worthy purpose for American education and a worthy destiny for our children. And I summon on stage in the epilogue 2 people. General Braddock, in charge of the largest British army in North America, and his subaltern, Major George Washington. Braddock is an aristocrat to the core, and he's on a huge white horse. And he's covered with red and gold and silver and drummers. And Washington is dressed in frontier buckskins on a horse called Blueskin, who's the gray. And both of them are beckoning us into a different future. One says, you are children, you will always be children, we will take care of you, follow me into this well-organized, fully ordained future. And Washington, who said in his memoirs that the most brilliant sight he ever saw in his life was Braddock's army about to be exterminated when it crossed the river that Washington said, I don't think I'd cross that river if I were you. He made a mistake, because in my reading of American history, when he looked in the mirror, that was the most brilliant sight he ever saw. Like Caesar, he was offered a crown 3 times, and 3 times he turned it down and said, I'll return to private life after my presidency. I think we need to follow Blueskin into the future. And that's Underground History of American Education. And I hope you buy it.
Thank you very much, John.